What's the chat has gained a little bit of this, a bit of this? Okay, welcome back to another anime reaction. Listen, we're finishing Fire Force. Okay, this is gonna be the first anime that we're finishing. Okay, it's 24 episodes in its last part two of season three of Fire Force. So. In this episode, we're going to be covering episode 19, 20, and 21. And then the next one, we're going to do 22 through 24. So we can go ahead and finish this. And then we're going to move on to Jujutsu Kaisen. Okay, this is episode 19. It's called Those Who Fight Back. It says Dr. Giovanni has become an infernal and taken over Yu's body. He inserts the key into the Amaterasu power generator and triggers the Great Cataclysm. Oh shit. When he does, the world and the images of Adola begin to merge into one, and large-scale fires break out all over the empire. As cries of despair rise from the people, the Special Fire Force soldiers are powerless with no course of action left. Okay, so that just kind of spoiled the episode for me. I mean, it is what it is. We're going to go ahead and get into it. Like I said, this is not episode 19 through 21. I'm going to come back with some discussions, and hopefully we can have a conversation about how we feel about how Fire Force is ending and some of the events that's happening within these episodes. I'm ready to be gagged. I hope you're ready to be gagged as well. I can't wait to talk about it. See you in a second. So I just got through watching episode 19, Those Who Fight Back, and Giovanni had Squad 8 fucked up. He really thought like he was bigger than the program, and Arthur came in and saved the day, and I feel like I seen like bits and pieces like before this part came out. Like I was watching the manga on YouTube, and I had skipped far a little bit where I had started seeing Arthur versus Dragon. But I thought that that fight was what previously happened, like when they explained that Iris was another part of the pillar, and when Dragon had did the blast the first time, that she was the one that was protecting him. So I had got confused with those two fights. But the Great Cataclysm has already started. And now they're explaining that basically human despair, well, first of all, the two worlds are merging together, the images and, you know, their world. I don't know what to really call that world, but yeah. So, but I do want to say, like, I'm kind of disappointed, like, how Fire Force kind of is, like, turning out. I don't know if you share the same thing, same ideas with me, but I wanted it to be such a more, like, intricate reason on why the Great Cataclysm was going on, not just because like humanity is having despair. Now, do I think it's a great concept? Yes. Like, hold on, give me a second. Okay, so the primary negative emotions that states that fuel the fires of the Great Cataclysm includes madness, passivity, apathy, rage, destruction, fear, disgust, and despair. Despair, specifically the character Dragon, is described as a despair incarnate. Okay, so this is about to spoil me. I'm bringing too much onto the internet. But yeah, so those are supposed to be the emotions that's like fueling the cataclysm, and like basically the whole world's on fire. And basically Light is the one who's about to come up with an idea to be able to stop, you know, basically the Great Cataclysm. But I don't know if they're going to be able to. Yeah, but Arthur came in and saved the day and killed Giovanni in like 2 seconds. Like he just came through and burned him through with that little plasma. Giovanni had them fucked up. And also, Hamiya is like one of my favorite characters, and it's so sad. Well, Charon or Charon, however you pronounce it, I feel like he was one of my favorite characters too, especially like because of his strength. Like he was one of the strongest characters in the whole show, and he ended up blowing up himself. But Hamiya is like definitely one of my favorite characters, and it's so sad like that she can't control her thoughts. So everyone like pain and sadness is like on her, so like she can only like do so much with her like brain, like because she's constantly like going insane. That she was basically whipping Sharon's ass and like destroying shit because like she can't handle it. So she's like, I might as well just enjoy the madness because like this shit's gonna go on forever. So I might as well just go crazy. So yeah, let's get into episode 20. Okay, so this is episode 20. It's titled Where Hope Is. Colossal fires throw the Tokyo Empire into chaos. Cries of despair from the people spread until they threaten to swallow the Fire Force soldiers too. At that moment, Obi encourages his comrades to rise up. His words get the fire soldiers to get back on their feet, and they begin rescue operations to bring hope to the people. Then, as if to mock them, demons who bring the world to Then, as if to mock them, demons who bring despair to the world appear. Okay. So, I feel like maybe I'm about to talk too quickly, but I feel like they haven't like fleshed out the whole ideal about the doppelgangers. And maybe like episode 20 is where we're going to learn about that. Because that's very confusing to me. Like, Shinra, like they really didn't flesh out like the history about Shinra, like, and him hurting Iris and all that kind of stuff, and what that really was going on. We kind of seen a little bit of the doppelgangers with Benimaru, Raffles. Was that whole situation when all them pillars and stuff coming back? Was that like the doppelgangers of them? It was that whole situation was a little confusing. But let's go ahead and get to episode 20. I'll be back. Wait, I can't even like finish this episode before I talk about this. They just said there's no human on the earth that has an independent thought. And when you think about it, that's crazy. Okay, so we just finished episode 20, which is, I think it's titled Where Hope Is. Okay, so yeah, basically this was a focus on, so basically they brought Assault, a member from the White Clad who was officially defeated by Tamaki, I believe. And I believe they just brought him back to explain, like, to make it all make sense. First of all, can we talk about the beginning of the episode with the Asian lady or Korean lady? Correct me, however, I don't know her nationality. But just talking about how humans are like robots or zombies, and how it's so easy to be influenced, and how social media can create carbon copies of each other, and how, so many of us are just we're followers instead of, I don't want to say weird, because I think I'm a individual. I think I'm a leader. I have independent thinking. But so many people are like group minded, and so many people just want to follow the leader. And I really like the one situation where the child named Tatsuru or whatever, he like was awakened by Captain Obi of the 8 squad. Because he told him, like, all you have to do is have hope or whatever and you'll be cool. And his mom started freaking out because Tamaki is so sexy. And so the child was basically like reading him, like, normally, like, that's how people talk about neurodivergent people, and how it makes people uncomfortable about someone who is like outside of the norm, or somebody who's like weird, or like autistic people. I'm not calling them weird or saying anything like that, but how society views people who don't act the same or get in line, as being weird. So yeah, I think that was something that was very interesting. Like I said, I think they added the Assault character back and brought his doppelganger because they wanted to explain that different people play different roles in like the world, like how they was describing that Tamaki represents the symbol of life, and Dragon represented all these different type of like aspects. Sho was the angel, Shinra was the hero, and so on and so forth. So I thought it was a very interesting way to tie all this in, especially with the despair being the catalyst of the cataclysm. Yeah. So this is episode 21. We're going to end the series on this episode. Episode 21, Dragon and Knight surge toward the heavens. Seeking to settle the score from their last meeting, Arthur challenges Dragon to a battle alone. Their fight rages over land, sea, and air, and then they travel to the surface of the strange moon. In the airless vacuum and extreme cold, Arthur desperately fights back, but then at last he collapses. The fate of the world hangs on this battle. Will Night King Arthur be able to win? Okay, so you remember previously in this episode, in this video that I was talking about, I had seen this fight when I was reading the manga over on YouTube. So yeah, so I kind of already know how this fight turns out. I didn't watch so much of it, but I kind of woke up, because I fell asleep on the person who was reading the manga. So, but when I woke up, I was like, they was talking about how they was in space, and I was like, how the fuck did they get in space? Like, how do we get here? So yeah, I can't wait to finally see this animated. So yeah, we're gonna watch Dragon versus Arthur. And we're gonna watch Arthur slay the dragon. Arthur out here looking like Zenitsu from Demon Slayer with the violet / reverse plunge. Of course, they would leave off on a cliffhanger. But let's sum this episode up. Episodes. So it's definitely giving the end of the season. Arthur versus Dragon was complete cinema. I can't wait to see what Shinra does as he wakes up in the last minute of the episode. So we're finally getting closer to understanding the Adola and the Evangelist and seeing how deep this conspiracy goes. Company 1 and Company 8 have like basically restored hope within humanity and done their best to end the Great Cataclysm. So if you like this dialogue that we have, make sure that you back joining me on April 2nd, that's Wednesday, for episode 22, 23, and 24. Make sure you like this video, make sure you follow, make sure you subscribe, make sure you leave a purple heart, and make sure you get in the comments because I want to have a conversation. Also, I want to know who's your favorite Fire Force character. All right, Shamtastic Gang, this is the end of this reaction. I can't wait to see you again.